Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. If you're watching us live, thank you for that. Did have a little hiccup yesterday. Accidentally put the show on my Facebook page. Did share it to our Facebook page, but of course you can go back and check it out. You can also watch us online, and we appreciate it if you are listening or watching to us later. You can find us at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. Getting into it this morning, happy Phase 1 day. You're looking at not a whole lot of delays today, I guess because it's Friday. Some minor delays at 4-H Club Road, River Road, N190. Also some minor delays on 64 heading into Central. Otherwise, you're looking pretty clear. On-ramps, of course, with those lights letting you on when they feel like it. Got to deal with that this morning. It's currently 69 degrees. 84 degrees is your high. 68 your overnight low. It had a lot of rain yesterday. Going to have some more rain this afternoon starting at about 1 p.m., so please get ready for that. Going through your mitigation efforts, want to remind folks, just because we moved into Phase 1, a lot of these are still in effect. You want to keep that in mind as you're trying to move through. And stay safe during this time. Please remember to wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds or more. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at your office. Wear a mask in public if at all possible. Control your cough with your elbow or a tissue. That includes sneezing. Don't touch your face. Don't ever forget that one. 6 feet or more between yourself and others in public. Stay home if at all possible to work, and stay home if you are sick. We're looking at 33,489 cases of coronavirus in Louisiana, and I'm sorry, this morning I did not pull the Livingston Parish statistics. I'm sorry about that. 22,608 recovered on 248,000 tests. 1,193 hospitalized on 140 ventilators, 2,351 deaths. Of course, last night the governor signed the official proclamation sending the state into Phase 1 of the economic reopening. 25% capacity is kind of that standard that we're looking at. Especially for those businesses that did open. They did discuss on Wednesday, that would be Dr. Alex Biu of the Louisiana Department of Health, as well as Governor John Bel Edwards, why some businesses remained open and why some closed. A lot of it had to do with sort of a three-step analytic process. Part of it was how many members of the public were coming in and out, especially considering the 25% capacity limit. What was the intensity of the interaction in between the customer and the employee? So for a lot of these places, what that means is when they're describing intensity, they're talking about how long will these two individuals, the employee and the customer, spend inside 6 feet of each other over 15 minutes. So that seems to be sort of the transfer rate for this. And so the last part of it was how could that interaction be modified? How could it be changed to protect either the customer, the employee, or both? So in that vein, what we found, and let me flip back here to talk about those lists that we have from the other day, those businesses that will open. Sorry, I didn't go back far enough. Churches, funerals, and weddings will be open. Again, this is all under a 25% capacity limit. If you do own a business and you're still not sure what your capacity limit is, please contact the fire marshal's office, the state fire marshal's office. They will work with you on that. Restaurants and bars with a food permit will reopen. Gyms and fitness centers. Movie theaters, casinos, museums, zoos, and aquariums, barbershops, hair salons, nail salons, and malls. Also want to remind folks, it is hair salons and nail salons will reopen under Phase 1. Still remaining closed are going to be those tattoo parlors, massage parlors, spas, amusement parks, children's museums, and bars without a food permit. So you'll be dealing with that over this period of Phase 1, which will last, for a few weeks, maybe a month. Not entirely sure of the total timeline at this point. Of course, with an incubation period like COVID-19 has, which is roughly 2 weeks, it's still going to take a few weeks to gather the data and see if we are ready to move into Phase 2 or not. So, I'm sure the governor's going to ask for people's patience today at his press conference at 2:30. Talking about reopening the economy, some states are talking about enhanced testing during this time, and some people are worried about it. Some people think it's absolutely necessary and they're not going to go out without it. There's a lot of arguments for or against. Of course, Louisiana has decided that as they ramp up testing, they're going to go ahead and move into phase one. So there's no universal testing, I guess you can say, available just yet, but they're going to try to make sure that that is available to effect as we sort of open these doors and see how things go with the economy getting back on track. A couple of arguments for is that it's necessary to avoid a second wave. It identifies asymptomatic carriers because we will have universal testing, and it is a good replacement for the stay-at-home order. It's effective because it's been successful in other countries, including South Korea, Germany, places of that nature. It increases population confidence. There is a large portion of the population that's still a little worried about going outside, not going outside necessarily, but returning sort of to a new normal, the COVID-19 life, by going into these shops and things. They'd rather kind of go outside around their house and stay home. Excuse me. Simulations show false negatives are still effective. Now, what are false positive? These false returns try to at least show that people are getting tested, so it kind of still builds on that confidence. Arguments against are that it's unnecessary. Some doctors are saying that representative samples of a population are more than enough to be able to tell how this is scaling. Supply chains are being challenged or are too expensive at the moment, which means it's just unobtainable. And also false negatives might give a false sense of security. So those are kind of the arguments for and against getting this getting these tests ramped up. But the state of Louisiana has decided to side with the for, and they are going to ramp up testing. Of course, we're already up to, as mentioned, about 250,000 tests. They are looking to affect at least 200,000 in the month of May, due to some partnerships with some federal associations and entities. We'll see if they're able to make that happen. A feel-good story for you this morning. 79-year-old Frances Cherry won her fight against COVID-19. She was in Harvest Manor in Denham Springs. So congratulations to Miss Cherry. They said it was a hard-fought battle, but it's good to see that, even if you are in an at-risk population, you can still beat this thing. So congratulations to Miss Frances Cherry. Unfortunate news, there were 3 million new unemployment claims as of the end of last week. That would have been the 8th. So they're reporting unemployment claims at the end of the last week, bringing it forward per Department of Labor guidelines. They're not keeping a real-time unemployment score. Part of that is because they're trying to make sure they don't have duplicate claims and things like that to over-report the number. Of course, with unemployment, you do file a claim once a week, and so it'll be if you don't file a claim that week, you'll fall off the rolls. But they also have to file that claim once a week, which gives you an idea of how many new there are. So that's why they wait until the end of the week to report those, and they report them for the end of the week prior. So again, we're up to about 36 million unemployment claims nationwide. Of course, Louisiana is up to about 33% unemployment, so 1 in 3 are unemployed. You also have to consider that Livingston Parish is up to about between 16 and 17,000 unemployed on roughly between 140 and 150,000 population. Livingston Parish is second in the capital region for unemployment rate, behind East Baton Rouge Parish, which of course is to be expected. We are the second most populous parish. After sending out some personalized messages via Facebook to their individual seniors, they had a parade yesterday at French Settlement High School. Now, it was unfortunate. It did rain a lot, but that didn't stop them. I'm sure a lot of those kids were happy to be out and about. And, of course, the school was happy to celebrate them as they sort of wrap up the school year. Please remember that a lot of your students' work for school will be due today. Today is roughly the last day. They'll probably be moving into finals, whatever those look like for high schoolers, next week. Mr. John Hanna, who is an officer with the Walker Police Department, suffered a stroke and is in the hospital and will recover, according to doctors. However, the Walker Police Association is going to hold a fundraiser for him to try to help the family in this time. Hospital bills are what they are today, and also they're going to need help keeping the family going as Mr. Hanna recovers. So that is going to be May 30th. It will be at 28145 Walker South Road. They will have lunches available. They have tacos, quesadillas, and jambalaya. So you can pick from those three. They're $10 a piece, and a cold drink will be provided. Again, that's a fundraiser for Mr. John Hanna, from an officer from Walker who suffered a stroke and is trying to recover, and the Walker Police Association is trying to help that family. Once again, want to wish you a happy Phase 1 day. A lot of businesses are going to be reopening, moving back, trying to get folks in. Remember, it's going to be about a 25% capacity limit, which is sort of what they're placing across the board. Of course, they said they gave us sort of an example of why they let certain businesses open and kept certain businesses closed. You can always go read about that on our website or rewind back to the beginning. But the big choices, without having to explain them, is how many members of the public are coming in, what is the intensity of the interaction between the public and the employees, and can that be modified? Want to talk about those mitigation efforts one more time before I leave you for the weekend. Wash your hands for 20 seconds or more with soap and water. Disinfect common surfaces at home and at your office. Wear a mask in public if at all possible. Control your cough with your elbow or a tissue. That includes sneezing as well. Don't touch your face. That one always, it's so hard. It's very difficult for that one. 6 feet or more of distance between yourself and others in public. Stay home if at all possible to work, and stay home if you are sick. Utilize telehealth to get in touch with your doctor. One last time with the coronavirus statistics. These are statewide. Forgot to pull I had 2 days with a snafu. I do apologize. We're going to get back on a roll on Monday. But today, for your statewide cases, 33,489 cases of COVID-19, 22,608 have recovered, 248,000 tests, 1,193 are hospitalized on 140 ventilators, 2,351 deaths. You're looking at a relatively clear commute. If you do have to go to work today, it's looking like low traffic. There are some minor delays on 64 heading into Central. And of course, those lights are keeping people delayed trying to get on I-12. I-12 itself looking relatively clear. It's currently 69 degrees, 84 degrees is your high, 68 your overnight low. You're looking at thunderstorms, kind of like we had yesterday, starting at about 1 p.m., but we did get a little reprieve, let some of this water drain off, so that is a good thing. One last time, I want to let folks know my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Don't forget that the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays. It's $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We have an app to go with that. We do have a free page for the coronavirus, and we also have a free page where we post these podcasts. You can check them out there. Do hope you have a great weekend. I'm getting a haircut Tuesday, thankfully. Please, get in contact with your barber or your hairstylist. Try to get something scheduled. Be patient with them. You can only have 25% capacity. Things are going to move slower. You're just going to have to deal with that. And some of them are going to have rules you might not like. But trying to get back to this, trying to get everything back to the way the way we want it to be. It may take a while. So try to be patient with these folks who are trying to reopen. They're trying to get you scheduled. In the meantime, try to go to a patio and get yourself a meal from a local restaurant this weekend. Maybe tomorrow. Supposed to have a little bit better weather, and it's supposed to rain. Of course, once it starts raining at about 1, it's going to rain for the rest of the day. But do hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you Monday morning.